From the headquarters in Derby is the Chief Executive of Rolls-Royce, Warren East. Warren, thanks very much for joining me. I understand you can't be specific on where the jobs are going to go right now, but presumably a lot of them are going to be here in the UK.
Unfortunately, yes, there will be a number in the UK. Of our civil aerospace business, approximately 2/3 of the existing jobs are in the UK. Here in Derby, this is the centre of our operations, and therefore, there will be a significant number in the UK.
Is it possible that some sites may close outright?
It is possible. We are going to carry out a thorough review of all of our sites. I mean, we can't just scale down each one of our sites in proportion to the total number of job losses. We would then end up with uneconomic sites, and so we have to go through it on a site-by-site basis, consultation with employee representatives and unions as well. That is going to take some time.
The unions have been quite critical of this decision. They say that you shouldn't be doing this while you're taking public money. Yeah, the money, as in the money that we are taking from the government for furlough schemes, and we have nearly 4,000 people in the UK on furlough at the moment, is very welcome support from government to help us through the short-term crisis. These job losses, however, are about the medium-term impact of that crisis on the global commercial aviation sector as a whole, and unfortunately, what we're looking at there is a reduction in demand, and we have to make sure that our capacity matches that demand. You've said that demand is obviously, you don't think it's going to return for several years to pre-crisis levels. Have you actually been suffering from order cancellations already in the crisis?
Yeah, we have already seen deferrals and cancellations, and a few weeks ago we saw the major airframers pushing out orders and therefore reducing their rate of build of engines by 40% or so. Those announcements happened during April, but of course don't forget our business is also quite significantly about servicing the engines of our existing fleet that airlines are using. And if airlines have fewer passengers getting onto planes, then they require fewer engine services. So it isn't just about reduction in demand for new engines.
And crucially, all the job losses are going to be in the aviation part of the business. Defence, which is based in Bristol, is not going to suffer any headcount reductions.
That's true. I mean, sticking to the positives for a moment, half of our business is not civil aerospace, and our defence business, as we've said, is largely unscathed through this crisis. A few small supply chain issues just during the crisis, but the business is performing robustly, and the outlook is stable going forward. So we don't see any need for job losses in our defence business.
Has there been any moment during the last few weeks, Warren, where you've thought that this pandemic might actually be an existential crisis for Rolls-Royce?
It's certainly a very, very serious impact, and our job is to make sure that it's not an existential crisis for Rolls-Royce. It is having a serious impact on half of our business, but we believe flying, aviation is a good thing for economies, it's a good thing for society, and we believe that it will come back. It's just not going to come back to the sort of level that we saw it in 2019 for quite a few years, and because we do believe it's a good business in future, and we believe we have some great opportunities as we help our customers get to ultimately zero carbon flying, then we need to preserve our business, preserve the vital skills we've got here in the UK, here in Derby, to make sure that we do have a future for our business going forward into that great opportunity.
Now, if you're suffering, all of your competitors will be suffering. Is there an industrial logic or a rationale behind consolidation in the sector now? Yeah, well, I think the sector is actually very consolidated. We are just one of a very, very small handful of companies around the world who can do this. I think it's an important asset for the UK, and we're going to work hard to protect that asset.
And leaving aside for a moment the pandemic, are you still grappling with the issues with the Trent 1000 engine turbines? How close are you to resolving that?
Well, actually, on the subject of silver linings, then we've made good progress over the course of this pandemic with Trent 1000, and we're absolutely on track to be single-digit aircraft on ground by the middle of the year. It's just such a shame that our airline partners can't actually fly those aeroplanes at the moment because they haven't got any passengers.